Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, I'd like to start today's episode with an issue that is near and dear to my heart. Seemingly not as near nor as dear to your heart. Is that okay with you? This is a personal service. What does PSA stand for? Public service announcement.
A personal service announcement?
But this is a PPSA.
This is.
Personal public service announcement.
Right, a public-private partnership announcement.
I'm glad to know that we still got it. For 30 seconds in, we still got the juice. Took a week off, we still got it. All right, let me share. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to play this video
Please.
for you.
People dress up like they're going to bed when they fly. I see people getting on airplanes and they're having a hard time taking their luggage and getting in the oversized or the above bin. Help people out, be nice, be courteous. And so we want to push people as we come into a really busy travel season. Help people out, be in a good mood, dress up, bring civility back to travel. And I think everyone's experience is going to be that much better.
Hold the line, my friends.
For those of you not in the know, that is Sean Duffy. And for those of you who aren't aware, even having his name, that's the current U.S. Transportation Secretary who has succeeded one Mayor Pete Buttigieg as the Transportation Secretary of the United States. And he would like to, according to the Chiron on Fox Business here, restore civility to air travel.
This year I've been thinking a lot about air travel and all the issues with it. And I always just come back to it's barbarism. Barbarianism? No, begging for help. Nope. You're gonna let me drown.
I'm not like Trump, the Trump to your mom, Donnie. I'm not gonna cut in and help you as you're stumbling through your words.
I'm glad he's focused on the issues at hand regarding transportation.
Me too.
In this country.
And he walked right up to the line of saying it, but what he really needed to follow through and say was at least jeans at minimum. That's what he should have said.
Right.
I've done a lot of flying in the last month or so, a lot of traveling. I have a lot of flying coming up. And I will indeed be wearing, as an American, the American that I am, denim. Denim will be on my legs. Jeans.
I think you're doing your red, white, and blue ones, right? With God Bless America painted on the ass.
Mm-hmm. Yes. As long as they're jeans. As long as.
Right.
That's all that matters to me.
You saw the Sydney Sweeney ad and you said, now we're speaking my language.
I don't even really know that I did watch that ad. I saw a lot of people talking about it, but it's one of those things that I can't really remember if I even bothered consuming or not. I'm just like, people are mad. I'm probably mad too. Why even go through the whole rigmarole?
I try and, as online as we both are, I do try and pick
you less
one.
So.
Well, yeah, less so.
Although you're on the worst ones. You're on the worst websites. You're on TikTok and Instagram.
Right, yeah. But I do try and pick a story like each week of like, what's the one that I'm just going to tune out? What's the culture war? What's the thing that everyone's talking about that I can choose right now with my agency, my God-given agency? To not give a shit about.
When you have agency is when you're like, I have agency here.
Right.
Like when you have to reassure
I
yourself
am in control.
that you have agency. I don't have to care about Sydney Sweetie's jeans. I have agency. I just remembered that. I remember that word. That's actually a good podcast idea. All the stories that you chose to tune out from.
Yeah.
We talk about them at the end of the week.
Right. Ooh.
It's sort of like the concept of like my brother's keeper. Like I fill you in. I protect you from all of those stories.
I love that idea, honestly, because I increasingly occupy very different spheres of the internet.
Yeah, I know. You spend way more time on 4chan and I'm mostly on Reddit still.
Okay. All right.
Wait, I'm actually curious. Say more about that. What spheres do you think that I occupy? I don't care what you occupy. Tell me what you think I occupy. But I agree that we've gone in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one?
I don't know.
What did you say?
Wall Street, right? First one.
Wall Street bets, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was an Occupy Wall Street joke. It's okay. It's fine.
15
years on. I'm not sure that was intended to land anyway.
Good 1%er joke. You don't see those not so much anymore.
No, I'm big on the anonymous accounts these days. I'm like, what are these guys up to? You know, the white hat hackers.
Yeah. I know. You're in trouble with anonymous accounts though now, because did you see Elon rolled out the update where it says what country that you're in? Did you see that today?
Yeah. I did see that. Yeah.
That'd be for all your servers.
Right. For all my burner accounts.
Offshore VPNs. I don't know how VPNs work really.
Offshore VPNs.
If you had to describe what subsection of the internet I am in and you are in, how would you describe them?
I mean, I feel like you've got your finger on the pulse a lot of times, you know, like
culturally, politically,
and politically, you know. Okay. I don't think it's a stretch for me to say you fire off a tweet about a movie you've seen every once in a while, once in a blue moon.
Right.
Yeah.
How often is once in a blue moon?
I don't know how often is a blue moon. I'm gonna say every 3 years.
Wow, every 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
Wow, seriously, let's go.
Every 2.4 years, with about 41 occurring each century. We're gonna give it to you. We'll round it up. That's not how often I tweet about movies.
That is not how often. I think it's slightly once in a normal moon, really.
Yeah. Once in a harvest moon or whatever.
I think we're getting further and further away from it.
Oh no. Harvest moon's only once a year. I realize I know nothing about the moon. The moon cycles, nothing. I was at trivia a few weeks ago. They said, how many moon cycles are there? I was like, 4? It's like 8. I don't know. I was like way off.
I don't know. It cycles it once a night, I think, right? It just does one cycle.
That's more like the sun.
Turns out I also know very little about the moon.
Is it even real? The sun is whack.
Yeah.
Moon.
Oh, you're coming out anti-sun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I know that it's like it provides all the energy for our whole universe. Like whatever, we get it.
Yeah, right. Arguably is the reason I'm gainfully employed. Arguably is the reason any of us are gainfully employed.
Well, like you went straight to LinkedIn mode.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a job creator right there.
Can I tell you, LinkedIn is one of the apps that I've been offloading to save space on my phone since I'm really maxed out on space on my phone, and it's constantly just shutting off. Like it doesn't work a lot of the time. And LinkedIn is, I'm sure you know, since you are also someone who struggles with space on his phone. LinkedIn is one of those apps that is unnecessarily large for the product that it is providing.
It's because all those connections that are in there, right?
Yeah.
It's and the algorithms that are working to find you your next job.
Truth be told, I don't really actually know what makes an app bigger than another app. Is it like lines of code?
I don't know, because when I deleted the New York Times app off my phone over the summer, I freed up like a gigabyte of space.
Yeah.
I was like, for what? It's just a web interface you're pulling up.
I know, and it's like. Has it cached every story you've ever read and it's storing it deep within your phone? It's not like you could bring those stories up without internet connection. So what's the point?
I wouldn't even know where to find them. Doesn't even give me a list of them. I don't know. So there's some engineer out there who's listening to this. All the engineers who listen to this podcast, who's pulling their
I think
hair
there's probably
right
a decent amount of them.
Okay. Well, if you know why apps are so damn big these days, drop us a line.
This is more of a back-end engineer question, though, not a front-end engineer question.
That's true.
I've had to learn recently since start working for a tech company in an actually tech role the difference between front end and back end.
Yeah, you learn a lot about the difference between front end and back end.
Yeah, I actually have. Yeah,
Good.
the
I'm
front
sure-
end
yeah, I mean-
product, Alex, is what I have to talk to creators about day in and day out. You wouldn't know nothing about that.
I wouldn't know anything about that, literally.
Not you. You're too busy connecting with people on LinkedIn, taking up more space.
Oh, firing on all cylinders.
Or firing on none. We have actually kind of a lot to talk about in the
Yeah, we
world
do.
of tipping pitches since we chatted last. Appreciate everybody giving us the space to take a week off. I had returned from the great country of Ireland. I didn't have much of a voice last week, which was probably good for the world, but bad for this podcast. So we took a little week off and we let the dumbest things of 2025 breathe. If you have not yet listened to the dumbest things of 2025, I suggest you do. Suggest you check it out. It will be evergreen if you want to wait a couple more weeks for some reason. Part 1 is just one episode back in the feed that you're listening to right now, and part 2 is on Patreon. There's a promo code for part 2, but I don't feel like saying it out loud on this podcast. It's in the description for part 1. Great episode. Just one of the best episodes of the year every year with our friends from Batting Around. Thanks to Jane, Lauren, and Steven. Today on the pod, we are going to chat about Bob Nutting and John Stanton and betting and maybe A-Rod and ESPN. So more of the same here on Tipping Pitches. Before we do all that, I am Bobby Wagner.
I am Alex Baisley.
And you are listening to Tipping Pitches, which is what I just said. I just said the name of the podcast. I hate when I accidentally do that. It's the worst, but you're listening to Tipping Pitches. Okay, thank you to this week's new patrons: Hannah, S.A., Mark, Andrew, Ethan, Ken, Melvin. Oh, Mark edited his membership. Thanks again, Mark. Grace, Carrie, Alex, another Alex, and Pointsman. Good couple weeks here. I guess the dumbest things is a big episode for people to want to come over and check out the Tipping Pitches podcast.
It's a good one. It's a good distillation of everything we think and feel.
How do you feel about the fact that if someone signs up for 1 month of Patreon, they get the access to our entire back catalog? Like, do you feel that's a fair market value? You being the big market value guy on the pod.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot about valuations, especially valuation of tipping pitches.
Oh, interesting. Who are you looking to sell to? NVIDIA?
As you know, right. We're making our AI pivot right now, actually. I mean, maybe it's a little early into the pod to admit this, but you are not actually listening to Bobby Wagner and Alex Baisley. We are artificial intelligence, LLM representations of our voice. We spent hours. I was about to say we spent hours recording our voice to train the model, and then I realized we actually have already done that. There are literally hundreds of hours of us.
And it's kind of bleak. That's actually kind of
pretty
bleak.
Yep.
So is the AI voice thing sort of like when you ask a cop, like, you have to tell me you're a cop? You know, if you're listening to an AI podcast, can you like comment and be like, is this an AI podcast? Or does it have to say yes?
Legally.
When I was in Ireland, I was there for a podcast conference, and they gave a presentation on AI and how it might affect podcast production. And some of it was interesting. At the beginning of it, they did play from one of the guys who was on stage. They played maybe about like not even 3 minutes, a minute, 90 seconds of a podcast. And they were like supposedly using it as an example to show you how far AI has come. And then the podcast stopped and everyone on stage was like, that's freaky. I can't believe how real that sounds. And I'm sitting there the whole time being like, that sounds nothing like a real podcast. I mean, as someone who has literally spent Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours editing podcasts, I was like, there's a million reasons why this does not sound like a real podcast.
Am I the only one who's ever listened to one?
Like, I mean, if I was 80, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm still pretty with it. I'm in my prime here.
That's right.
You would be a good voice for NVIDIA, for Perplexity, for OpenAI. Like, if you were the official voice, you have the right voice for it. very welcoming. You could put a nice face on AI.
Right. Yeah. Are you the dumbest person on earth?
You don't have to talk different. I'm saying it like your actual voice.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Struggling to tie your own shoes in the morning? We've got a solution.
No, they actually don't. AI can't do something like tie your shoes.
That's true. That's true.
Actually, that would be kind of useful. If I had a little robot that tied my shoes for me, it wouldn't be so bad. That wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't?
No. That's not taking anyone's job. That's not
creating
making
a job.
me dumber.
Really?
Yeah. Is it?
I'll shoot the resume around. I'll let them know what's up. I'm not afraid.
All right. Which of these topics do you want to talk about first?
Should we just talk about the big one? Get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
A little betting
Mets
scandal.
off season. No. Yeah. The betting scandal. That's the big one to you. The Mets off season so far is not bigger than that. Yeah, let's talk about the betting scandal. It's basically over.
Effectively, yeah. I mean, it's still playing out in court, I think, and MLB hasn't handed down its punishments yet. But
Yeah. Anytime you get arrested at John F. Kennedy International Airport, you're probably not. Like the second the plane lands, like it's probably over for you, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have a unique take on the betting scandal? Because I've heard a lot of samey takes about it so far that I mostly agree with. I'm just curious whether or not we're bringing anything new to the table.
That's a good. You tell me. Because I have probably read less about. I think I read the Athletic story on it and the Lindbergh story on it.
Mine were all podcasts.
Right. You typed into Grok and said, "What do I need to know about this?"
Yeah.
It said Elon Musk would never.
One of the dumber stories
pitches.
in the last week. I mean, just ridiculous. I muted Grok a year ago, so it hasn't really bothered me.
Yeah, I enjoy it personally. It's fun.
You enjoy just scrolling.
Yeah, using it. Yeah. I don't know. You tell me.
No, you tell me.
How original my take is.
All right, I'll rate it 1 to 10.
I don't know that I have something like unique. Like, oh, this is bad for the game. I could do a this is good for the game pivot, right? More eyeballs. All news is good news.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how the phrase goes?
I'm not even sure more people are watching baseball because of this. Like, are there more eyeballs?
I mean, yes. If you're listening and you don't know what we're talking about, Google betting scandal. It's gonna pop up really quickly, right?
It actually might not, the way that Google's working these days. Emmanuel Clase, Luis Ortiz, 2 relievers, and the Cleveland Guardians have been credibly accused, if not confirmed, to have been participating in an illegal bet fixing, where they conspired to intentionally throw a ball on certain pitches so that people could bet ball versus strike, or they intentionally conspired to throw a pitch like under a certain speed. This is what they have been alleged to have done. It seems like they have done it, and they have been arrested for doing it, and they are having their day in court. But Major League Baseball's investigation seems pretty cut and dry. They probably will never. Most people assume they will probably never play professional baseball in America again.
Yeah. And it is striking because Clase obviously has been one of the most dominant relievers in the game over the last few years. And I do think a lot of people were sort of scratching their heads saying, you are a professional athlete who makes millions of dollars. Why would you do this sort of thing? And I mean, a lot of it does come back to what we've talked about, which is that like young men especially are very susceptible to the ills of betting and that whole world. And if you think maybe you have an opportunity to, in Class A's case, maybe send money back to your family in the DR or something like that, you might jump at that. I don't know what goes into the decision of a player to do something like that. But what I will say is I don't really care, right? Because I think it's a bit of a misdirection to say, well, why would he do that? And I think it's more interesting to ask how is this not happening more with it being pushed down people's throats at every turn?
I like this.
It also
this
just
is good. This is at least a 7. You're going up though.
All right,
Could be
all
an
right,
8
all
out of
right,
10
all right,
for
all right.
originality. How is this not happening more? It's definitely a zag.
Yeah.
Definitely a zag. I love it.
Well, it's just so easy, right? I mean, they.
Right. So you're saying why not do it, basically?
Right, exactly. I'm saying they can't just kill us all, right?
If we all run into our local bodega and reach in the cash register, we can't all be arrested.
Exactly. No, I mean, this is what happens when sports books are pushing the market towards these like granular micro bets. And it's, I think, compounded by the sort of enforcement side of this thing, which is, I think, where it gets really hairy, right? Because because it's like conflict of interest is at the foundation of sports betting, right? Like the league is already the sort of monopolistic provider of the core product. The league then shares in the revenue that sports books generate from this, and then the league regulates itself by saying this is what our players can or can't do, and largely that regulation is we trust them.
Yeah,
they know the difference between right and wrong.
This is a fire system that we've set up.
It's so cool.
This is fire.
And then after this happens, they come out and say, as a proactive step, we're capping bets at $200. I'm like, yeah, this sounds very proactive.
This is good, actually. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad you brought it here. I'd like to take the baton for just one moment to say that Rob Manfred's most recent press conference about this issue is some of the most shameless behavior I've seen from Rob as commissioner, and we have chronicled truly shameless stuff from him. Him being like, I foresaw the prop bets being a problem. Like, brother, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, everyone foresaw it being a problem and you just ignored it. That's the other half of that sentence. You edited out the other half of that sentence. You were the person who had, like, maybe more than anyone else, the ability to regulate what was happening. You are the tinkerer in chief. This is your whole thing, bro. Making rules that dictate behavior. And you were just, this time you were like, I saw it. I was cool with it. Or I saw it and like, I wasn't really sure. You know, I was compelled by Adam Silver's op-eds in the New York Times about how we need to legalize sports gambling or whatever. Like, it's so disingenuous to be like, I feel really bad because I saw that this was going to be really big problem. Like, you could not make an argument that carries less water with me than being like, this is gonna be like than the one that Rob Manfred is making. Crazy town.
You waited until the problem was created, and then you were like, all right, I guess it's time to fix this.
Right. I'm driving at the cliff. I'm like, hey guys, I'm not gonna do anything about this. But once we are midair, after we have driven off the cliff, I'm going to turn to you in the passenger seat and be like, I knew that cliff was coming.
Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do about it. I mean, what was I going to turn around and drive the other way? Was I going to make a different path?
No, not with the opportunity that was lying just beyond that cliff, right? There was so much potential there.
Yeah. They sold him on potentially building a bridge before he got to the cliff, and then they didn't build the bridge. All right. Okay. Here's my other take. So I've been listening to, as everybody in sports media and seemingly everybody in general, sports media or not, I've been listening to a lot of Pablo Torre Finds Out. Pablo Torre has been reporting on not the MLB betting scandal, but instead the scandal that has rocked the world of the National Basketball Association. This, I think we've talked about it on the podcast a couple times now. The two parallel scandals, both involving betting. One, players taking themselves out of games for phantom injuries to hit unders. The other being these poker games that were fixed by NBA coaches at the behest of the mafia, who also has a lot of money in sports gambling. So this is top of mind. I think that a sentiment that you hear a lot, that I would argue and have argued, is essentially manufacturing consent. A sentiment that you hear a lot is like, well, rigging bets has always happened. And now we just have a mechanism for finding it out because the sports books are legalized. So I think the phrase that Pablo Torre has used multiple times now on his podcast and other podcasts is we're shining light on it. We're shining light on it. Light is a disinfectant. You know, that's a cute little phrase that we can use for this sort of thing. Maybe, right? Maybe. We're catching things that we wouldn't have caught in the past. However, we are making the mold like the size of the house and then shining light on it. So whatever harm you're mitigating by catching the game fixing or the bet rigging in the first place is not actually being mitigated because you've made the problem that there is anything being fixed in the first place thousands of times bigger. The volume with which we are betting on these games now, and in turn, the breach of trust that we are causing by exposing a potential gambling scandal is just unfettered. Previously, it was like, okay, maybe they were fixing prop bets and I never knew about it. And you're like, oh, ignorance is bliss, Bobby. You don't care about this because you never even thought about it. It's like, no, I don't care about it because it was probably one player connected to the underworld who fixed one prop bet that a total of like $100,000 was on. And now it's like seemingly multiple players are being pressured to do this. And the volume of the betting is in the millions / billions / at some point it will probably hit trillions where we are losing confidence in. And it's the only increasing revenue source for the leagues. I think we've created a much bigger problem despite the fact that we are catching it. It doesn't matter, kind of. It like doesn't really matter because it was never going to get to be this size without legalizing it. So it's a bit of a catch-22 argument that Pablo and others, who I tend to agree with on a lot of things, are making, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've just made it so much easier. Like, if you want to rig a game you're playing in, that's your prerogative. If you want to go to your offshore, sports book and talk to your like one-eyed bookie and have them like, sending threats to your family or whatever because you haven't paid your debts, that's great. That's the American way right there. But just texting your buddy during a baseball game and being like, hey, are you good to fix this, the first pitch when I come in? Come on, man. Have some shame.
I sort of liken it to
honor in rigging games.
There's no honor among thieves, Alex. I sort of liken it in my head. This was a really hard analogy to articulate, but please bear with me because this is what a true podcaster does, is just jumps off the cliff Manfred-esque into his analogy, hoping that it will land to his co-host and his listeners. I kind of liken it to being like, all right, so in most states, the speed limit is like 65 miles per hour. But people speed. People do 90. People do 85 or 90. This is sort of like the equivalent of being like, all right, let's make the speed limit 120 miles per hour and let's make every car have the ability to do 150 miles per hour and then punishing people for doing 150 miles per hour. It's like, well, yes, you are catching them now and you are actually cracking down on it much harder and you're arresting every driver and taking away their license, every driver who goes over the new speed limit of 120 miles per hour. But how are the people who are going 118 miles per hour now? That's actually bad. More people are going to die this way. That is my analogy for you. Does that make sense?
It for the most part, I think so.
All right, great. Thank you.
Well, this is also just like the perils of bets that can be swayed by an individual player, right? There have been a lot of calls for just banning prop bets because,
but those especially the money.
Those are for who, Bobby? For
That's
who?
How they make the most money.
You're talking about me, the consumer, right?
Yeah.
That's how I make the most money.
Has the ban lapsed? Can I say what actually makes the most money for sports books?
I think we're good. I think we're in the clear.
Yeah, parlays, bro. Parlays make the most money for sports books because that's like freebasing prop bets. You're doing multiple at the same time all at once. You roll it into one fucking pipe and smoke it all together.
Yep. Yeah, as you said, really, really fire system we've set up here. Feel really good about it.
Take that analogy about the cars back to your friends. See if they like that one.
I will. So you know how the speed limit is 70 miles an hour.
70, bro. All right, let's go. You're driving in PA. Let's go.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Statewide speed limit in New York, brother, is 55. That's not fast enough for me.
It's anti-American.
In my jeans, driving my Chevrolet. Okay.
Zoran Mamdani, I am a single issue voter. Make the cars go faster.
Sounds like he wants to make the planes go faster. You saw he didn't take the Acela?
What's
up with that?
Many people mad at him for that.
I saw people like actually trying to be mad about that. I was like, come on now. Let's not be crazy. Let's not get out of control here. Okay.
The big question, obviously, did he wear jeans? I think he wore a suit, honestly.
He always wears that suit.
Motherfucker.
From fucking Zara or wherever it's from. I think it's actually from Suit Supply.
Is it actually?
I think they wrote a story about this. Yeah. It's like one of the generic Suit Supply situations. I don't mean to slander Big Z. I don't mean to slander him if that's not the place. But his fashion, obviously, is a huge piece of his whole thing. His little Casio watch, his little pinky ring. He's speaking to every one of his... He's sending silent messages and they're receiving them. It's like, Zoran Mamdani, I've received your message.
Dude, when he rocks the like tweed jacket, unbelievable ribs.
You don't see that so much anymore, though.
You really don't.
He's only wearing the black suit and that thin little tie.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's on his way to a Matt and Kim concert.
Wow.
Big millennial energy from him.
No, seriously. All right. Before we get too deep down the rabbit hole of Zoran Mamdani's fashion, where should we go next?
What do you think he would think about our fashion?
I think he's probably takes a big tent approach to fashion, right?
I mean, he must, right? That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the demo. Everyone's a voter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. All right. I want to talk about Bob Nutting. Can we talk about Bob, Big Bob?
Yes, yeah.
He's here to save Major League Baseball by writing checks. Too long have the Pirates gone, letting every star walk away. Too long, Alex, have the Pirates gone, where their biggest free agent contract in franchise history is how much? Do you know the answer to this question? The most money, the most guaranteed money that the Pirates have ever inked for a free agent.
I did write it down because I was, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I knew we were going to talk about this. It's 39 million, right?
Yes. 39 million.
No multi-year deals to free agents in a decade.
That's
the last one was Ivan Nova.
That's actually somehow crazier.
Right?
That's crazier than the 39 million thing to me. So a lot of stories have come out in the last couple of weeks about how the Pirates are looking to add in free agency. They were hot on the heels of Josh Naylor, but they just missed out. Jeff Passan wrote for ESPN that Nutting is intending to spend more money. I have to say, this smacks of, there's no other way to say it, propaganda. I mean, this smacks of sort of salary cap propaganda that the Pirates are like, well, it's very convenient 1 year out. They're trying to spend money 1 year out from the CBA expiring. Now's the time that they're trying to spend money and they just can't. They can't give it away, Alex, because all these other teams, the big market, big bad Seattle Mariners are scooping players right away from the Pirates. I just wonder, why are we giving credit and who is the source on the fact that the Pirates want to apparently add and make the playoffs? I just am really kind of baffled by this whole story. And you know, one of our listeners, I put out a call for topics. One of our listeners responded and wanted us to talk about the Pirates posturing, but also, in light of this, the John Stanton full-page ad in the Seattle Times and bringing back Naylor on a 5-year, $92 million deal, which I believe is the biggest deal that the Mariners have handed out since Robinson Cano. That there's a lot of sort of small market, mid-market teams who have been loath to spend money, who are like, well, we're really trying this offseason, to somewhat buy goodwill heading into this final season of the CBA. What's your read on Big Bob? You think he really means it this time?
I mean, I don't. But even if he does, these are the sort of moves that I think do sort of can easily distract fans or media, right? And there was rumors going around that they're going to aggressively go after Kyle Schwarber. Like, sure, okay, yeah, me too. But
you went aggressively after Kyle Schwarber's beer. In some ways,
that's right. That's right. I did.
Much to your chagrin.
But I just even if we take it all at face value, I'm not sure it really moves the needle for me. I think the rumors were like they're going to add like 30 million or so to their payroll, right?
Yeah.
Still puts them squarely in the bottom third of the league. And it's still far short of at least what we know about their finances, of what their finances are able to support, right? Like, there's no perfect metric on like how much money our team's able to spend, right? But
as much as Forbes would like you to believe that they know how much revenue each team makes, those numbers are not real as far as I'm concerned.
I think they're not real either. But they're a fine enough rule of thumb. And so when you see that the Mets are spending I think like 80% of their quote unquote revenue on payroll, I think they probably are making more revenue than that. But in terms of what's being publicly disclosed,
I think it's maybe less so that they're making more revenue than that, and more so that what does spending it actually mean?
Sure. But I guess
it's compared
I'm talking
to
about
payroll.
specifically like payroll expenditures, right?
Estimated
like
2026 payroll for the Pittsburgh Pirates, $66 million.
Right. They're coming in at like a quarter of their revenue that's being allocated towards payroll. And again, this is like revenue that they are, at least being forthcoming about. And this does not really account for all the accountants' tricks that owners use. So I don't know. It just like
EBITDA.
The EBITDA. We love EBITDA.
We fucking love EBITDA.
So it reads to me like a couple things, right? Like, you are trying to buy narrative cover ahead of a collective bargaining agreement. You have the best pitcher in baseball who was recently crowned a Cy Young, who has perpetual rumors around him leaving. And maybe you want to show some sort of goodwill to be like, no, look, we really are trying. We really are going to try and build a contender around you.
Hate to do this to Pirates fans, but he's a Met. Sorry. Like, he's a Met.
Speak your truth, brother.
He loves New York. Fucking Livy Dunn, her whole career, it's going to thrive here. He's a Met.
Yeah. That one's going to sting to some folks for sure. But it's not out of the question, right? It's like, what is the track record that points to anything else? Not necessarily for the Mets, but like, what is a track record that points to the Pirates not shopping Skeens? I don't know what it is. And so, I mean, and I guess the third angle to this is the sort of public PR aspect to it, right? Which is essentially throwing fans a bone and saying, look, we really are going for it, right? There's the kind of labor CBA angle, which is like, please, no grievances against us, please, God, please. And then there's the fan one that says, hey, I don't need to sell the team because we really are trying. Trust me. I don't know that I buy any of it, and I don't think it fixes any of the structural problems inherent to baseball's economic structure.
Yeah, I think that It's curious that this is happening with the Pirates this offseason because they are probably the team that has the most heat for their behavior. I think people have started to grant the Rays a little bit of slack because like they actually win. They make the playoffs a lot and this is their model, and you wish that they would spend more as a fan, and you'd wish that they'd create more continuity with stars by keeping them around for longer, but like they've proven time and time again they can create a good baseball team, maybe not a great
and
one.
they have a new ownership group as well that's coming in.
Sure. And their stadium got destroyed by a natural disaster. Like there's a lot of different reasons that maybe it's not the time to splash for 200 mil on payroll for the Rays. We're reasonable people here. We can be reasonable. The Rockies are just like weird bad. They've had some flirtations with wanting to spend more and add more and add in free agency. But when they did, it was like, we're going to give the money to Wade Davis. Like, we're going to give the money to like a setup guy. The Mariners have been in the middle of the pack in spending. So a lot of these teams that have like caught a lot of flack, caught a lot of heat, there's enough cover. But the last two off seasons, okay, the A's, where there's almost, sorry, I got to be better. A's. Last two off seasons, A's. There's almost no way to defend what they have done. Like, just no way at all. Stealing the team from Oakland, slashing the payroll to do so, blaming it on the fans, blaming it on attendance. All of these different things that John Fisher and A's organization have deployed as narrative arguments in their defense. And yet, like, they threw $38 million down in payroll last year to literally, I mean, legally on paper, provably, demonstrably, to avoid losing revenue sharing, to avoid having to be a revenue sharing payer rather than a receiver, to avoid a grievance. Like, straight up, that was the only reason it was known. This was not a surprise. And yet people talked about that spending like it was Fisher trying to turn the ship around in anticipation of moving the team to Sacramento and then eventually Vegas so they could start building some momentum for that. But that's not what that was at all. It was the most naked version of narrative cover that you could possibly imagine. And now 1 year later, Nutting's running the same playbook without the sort of hanging specter of a grievance hanging over his head, but like it's the exact same thing, just like compressed and exacerbated by the fact that next year is when the CBA expires, and he knows that owners, not even just his own fans, not even just radical podcasters like Alex Baisley and Bobby Wagner, like he knows that other owners are on his case about how he has been behaving, and so he has to generate a little bit of goodwill even in his own rooms. And it's a weird thing that's happening. Like we randomly tried to spend $40 million extra and like we couldn't do it, or it was really hard to do it. And that's not going to save everything. And the way that the media is covering it now, it just feels so out of time. Like we know that these are not genuine good faith efforts. Why are they being covered as such?
Right. I mean, the books are still private. The league still allows owners like this to capture revenue sharing, and there's no penalty for fielding a subpar payroll. Like the incentives are still not lined up to actually encourage Nutting to compete.
For the health of the sport, I'm happier if Bob Nutting just keeps doing what he's doing. Well, no, let's not say for the health of the sport. For the health of the sport, it'd be good if he spent $100 million extra. I'm sorry to Pirates fans. For the health of me, I'd rather him spend more time on Weigel whiskey so that the next time we do a taste test, we could try a different Weigel whiskey and it could be just as good as the last one, because that was the best thing we tasted in Sipping Pitches.
I thought you were going to go all accelerationist on me and say I actually want him to decrease payroll even more and completely fracture the economic landscape of the sport.
I can't decide anymore if I'm an accelerationist or an incrementalist.
Yeah.
The world is moving around me, it's hard for me to find my place in it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got to make the decision, really?
A couple years ago, it really felt like I was more of an accelerationist, and now it's like, Doesn't feel as fun as I thought it would.
No.
Mamdani in the Oval Office today was a real win for incrementalism, let me tell you. I mean, those were the biggest wins for incrementalism that I've seen in decades.
Would you say that there are weeks, Bobby? There are weeks where decades happen?
Someone tweeted something shifted here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, maybe.
The vibes.
Maybe
vibes
not.
shifted.
Yeah. Woke is back and better than ever.
That's right, it is.
Get on board, Bob. Spend that 40 million or else.
All right. Anything more to say on our friend Bob?
Yeah, I have more to say. The Pirates are not Josh Naylor away from being out of last. Like, what? I was like, wow, dream big. They got Josh Naylor, the second best first baseman on the fucking free agent market. Like, what is happening? I don't know, man.
Sorry you don't see the vision.
It's not like it's not like a report came out that the Pirates offered $650 million for Juan Soto last year. Like,
Right.
all right, I would be impressed if that was the case. We would know that it was not worthwhile because that wouldn't have come close. But like, if the Pirates were like, this is the guy, this is really where we turn our franchise around, sure, fine. I don't think they would ever do that, and I don't think that would actually turn their franchise around, but it would at least signal something, right? Fucking Josh Naylor, like, no disrespect, like Josh Naylor is a really good player, but like they got Josh Bell a few years ago, and that didn't do much of anything. Another first baseman who was like the third best first baseman on the market. I don't know.
So is this the year? Do we finally get a multi-year deal?
Talk to me when the Pirates signed Dylan Cease, right? I don't know. I think we're gonna get a multi-year deal, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be more than 39 mil. Schwarber is going back to the Phils.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All this talk, and Pete's going to sign with the Pirates for like 230 million or something. Like, I
don't say
I'm
that.
Just,
don't
I'm
say
just
that.
sowing this. I'm just sowing, and in a few weeks, I'm going to be reaping. Okay. Can we actually? I didn't put this on the list, but can we actually talk for a second about how the Rockies were like, "Yo, let's hire the guy from Moneyball." The guy from Moneyball who's been running the Browns. Guy from Moneyball who did the Deshaun Watson trade.
20 years after Moneyball being like, hang on a second.
Craziest thing, okay, Jordan Schusterman called me earlier today to catch up about something, and we were talking about this exact thing. And I did not know that he was still employed by the Browns as like a special assistant to the GM or like some sort of advisory role. I thought he had been fired like 8 years ago. But Jordan was like, no, he was working there 3 weeks ago. He's like, this is the guy who drafted Shedeur Sanders. I was like, what? So he said that. And he also mentioned, shout out Jordan. Jake is the worst, but shout out to Jordan. He's the best. Jordan also mentioned that the funniest part of this to him is that the Rockies did interview all of these like young up and coming schmucks who went to Harvard, who are like the third most powerful person in these other smart organizations. And they just couldn't hire any of them. And they were like, all right, Paul DePodesta it is.
Back to the source.
Like, what happened there?
Cool. It's so cool, man.
Why did he take this job?
I don't know. That's the real question.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been like a running joke that for like a really, really smart person, which I'm not trying to suggest Paul DePodesta is. I actually don't really know if he's smart at all. A lot of evidence to the contrary, but you know, that movie is good. For a really, really smart person, there's a lot of compelling evidence that the Rockies' job is like the most compelling job. Because you have this sort of baked in advantage / disadvantage that if you knew how to exploit it, it's the most unique job in sports in some ways. And definitely in baseball. But the thing is, like, you have to work for Dick Monfort. So you have to work for Dick Monfort 12 calendar months before going into a CBA negotiation where he might just ride in on a horse and just blow the whole thing up. You might not have a job for a year. It's crazy that he did this. Like,
It really is
crazy.
But you're right. Some people love a challenge like that, you know?
Do you love a challenge?
I Yeah, but it's mostly like, can I wake up in time to make it to the train I usually take? Like that's usually enough for me.
You always
And if I
contemplate my
lose,
questions.
I'm turning around and going home.
You always contemplate my questions so seriously. I love it. I'm like, do you love a challenge? And you're like, well, do I?
Well, let's see. Do I?
I like a challenge.
Sometimes. Yeah.
You know this about me. I like an uphill battle,
Mhm.
And that's why I'm happy to announce that I'll be taking over the Pittsburgh Pirates president of baseball operations role. For our first move, we're going to trade for Josh Naylor.
Yeah, let's go.
Skeens for Naylor. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
Who says no?
ESPN is the new home of Major League Baseball. Kind of. At least for 2026, you'll still be able to receive Major League Baseball broadcasts through MLB itself, through MLB TV, traditional ways. But you can also add the package into the ESPN app, the all-new ESPN app. I think we're all contractually obligated somehow to say that every time we refer to the ESPN app. Is baseball back? That's my question for you.
And
mind you, this is our last
Let's
topic.
think about it.
This is our last topic, so really empty the clip here, bro.
So we gotta milk it. Yeah.
Unless you want to spend a lot of time talking about Tomi Lahren, Chris Ilitch, or Freddie Freeman doing the worm, this is really our last big topic. So,
baseball never left, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So it is going to be really funny. Like the way that we have looked back at newspapers like 100 years ago, and there's some columnist in the, Spokane Daily Gazette who's like,
the Daily Gazette. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were doing dailies back then. Media was still alive, that's for sure.
I was
and
only
someone
putting my
being
newspaper out back then, once in a harvest moon.
And we like clown like some columnist who's like is saying that baseball's dead, and we're like, wow, look, they were talking about this like 100 years ago,
Yeah.
And it's on the off chance that we're still around 100 years from now, right? That the sport still exists and the earth is still turning.
Oh, just we as humans.
Not you and I.
All right. I know that you seemingly have an optimistic view of how long I'm going to live, but please, 129, put me out, bro. Put me out.
The people are gonna look back on this and be like, "Do you see that 2% dip in attendance right there in the 2010s?"
Right?
Yeah, we thought the sport was over. We thought it was cooked.
Yeah, you sound a lot like a person who's like, climate change is not that bad. It's like 2 degrees,
Right?
But I hear what you're saying. At least when we go back and read the columns, it's sort of like a quaint relic of how people used to talk. But when people 100 years from now are going back and listening to this exact podcast, at least they're going to get some laughs.
Exactly.
They're going to hear a couple jokes about how Big Z and Trump met in the White House. They're going to be like, wow, weeks or decades happen.
Yeah, seriously.
That's not true at all. This podcast will not be funny to anyone in like 2 years, let alone 100 years.
I wholeheartedly disagree. I think
Wow.
this is going to age like wine.
Okay. Hopefully red wine, because white wine is horrible. And I'm going to keep sharing that take. I will not be bullied off that
white
take.
Wine even can you age white wine? Same, does it work the
Age
same
it
way?
what? From bad to worse, maybe. I will not be bullied off this opinion by some of our most beloved members of the Tipping Pitches community. It will not happen. I will not be called anti-Italian for not liking white wine. That's nonsensical. From my area of Italy, it is red wine.
Really, really brutal for me the other day to take a sip of white wine and be like, is he right?
I'm right. You'll come around.
I finished the glass for what it's worth, right? Because
it's about the tannins or something. I don't know. I just know what I feel.
Yeah, speaking of tannins, the ESPN MLB deal.
You're going to bring this home.
No, there was no pivot there. I was
All
I
right.
was trying to call attention to how far we'd strayed. Yeah, so they've officially split up the rights, right? ESPN, NBC, and Netflix are going to be your homes for Major League Baseball next year. When I say NBC, that includes one Peacock. because I know you love your streaming services. Netflix will get those marquee events.
I still somehow don't have Peacock, even though I really feel like I need to get it because of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have Peacock?
Yeah. Do you want my login?
I kind of do. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
But like, is
you.
it one of those things where like only one person can be using it at a time? Because like, I don't want to deal with that really.
Dude, we did finally cave and buy our own Netflix account the other day.
Wow.
Because they stopped.
I caved.
They were
2
like,
years
"This is not
ago.
your host." Yeah, well, that's fair.
I caved.
You were itching for a reason to give them more money. You were like, "I think you're doing a service."
I'm kind of just like at this point in my life, like money's not real. You know, I'm in a relatively privileged position in my life that I could probably afford any streaming service that I want right now, and so I just don't want to deal with it. Like I want it to be the same password as everything else in my life.
That's why you're like, I think people should pay for the subway, right? That's no free passes, no swiping people through.
I saw a guy the other day who's like ostensibly a progressive, like on Progressive Wonk Twitter or whatever, who was making an argument that like the fact that Iowa City
Progressive Wonk, bit of an oxymoron there, but yeah, go on.
Exactly. Go on. Well, Ezra Klein would have you believe that it's not an oxymoron, but apparently we just have to give him more and more money from the New York Times.
Likely thing for him to say, but
all these stories about him becoming like a political influencer and how he's starting to gain weight in Washington. Gain heft and what I don't know. I'm not trying to imply he's gaining weight. I'm trying he's gaining power in Washington. Okay.
Yeah. He's throwing his weight around.
Right, sure. I'm just like, who sees this guy as like that's a guy that I want to listen to? I just don't get it. I just don't understand the appeal.
Wait, okay, so but you saw Progressive Wonk.
Oh yes. He was making an
Ezra Klein
argument.
Progressive Wonk.
Okay, thank you for rewinding the tape back to where I was at. I got a little sidetracked there. He was making the argument that like, because someone had shared that Iowa City has free buses now, and it's been a smash hit success. And he quotes it, and he's like, Iowa City doesn't run buses on Sunday or past 7 p.m. at all. What? And I'm like, so are you trying to imply that if people had to pay for the bus, Iowa City would be like, let's run a ton of buses? Like, no, they would also still not do this because there's not that many people in Iowa City and there's not that big of a demand. It's still good that it's free for the people who do ride it when it is going. There's no correlation here. This was his argument for trying to say that New York City can't go to fast free buses. And I'm just like, New York City can go to fast free fucking anything if we take $10 billion a year from the NYPD, which is like 8% of their budget. Like, what are we talking about here?
Sorry you don't think this is the greatest city on earth. I don't know what to tell you.
2 words, Alex. And this applies to the Progressive Wonk on Iowa City Twitter. This applies to Ezra Klein. This applies to Bob Nutting and Paul DePodesta. 2 words.
Yeah.
Scarcity mindset.
Just
gonna leave that there. Just gonna let that breathe like a nice glass of red wine.
Wait, so you were saying, let me see if I get this right, that realistically we can have anything we want, right? If we put our minds to it, if we want more housing, if we say want an abundance of fast and free transit options, we actually can do it.
You can have
through the tools of bureaucracy,
through the tools of removing bureaucracy. You don't even read the book, dude.
Right? I know that's
read a book for one.
Right. I'm like, you put more red tape around it.
Unfortunately, the only thing that you can have is an abundance of episodes of Tipping Pitches, and they're free. They're fast and free.
Have we already talked about how we did like an abundance of shortstops? That was like the second episode we ever did. Have we ever made that connection?
Way ahead of that hack, Ezra Klein.
Yeah.
We invented abundance.
And then discarded it. We were like, I'm not having fun anymore. I don't need this.
It's like in Good Will Hunting when he walks up to the guy who's like spitting out takes from that social studies textbook, and he walks up to it and he's like, of course that's what you think. You're still reading such and such. That's us. To Ezra Klein. Of course you think we need a politics of abundance. You're still talking about how we have so many great shortstops. I've moved on. I'm reading the CBA line by line. I'm FOIAing Mark Attanasio's case for stealing sand. Right. You're playing checkers.
Did we ever get a resolution on that?
Chess. No, I'm probably
check
settled
in.
out of court. I have to imagine, like all things. One of the more important court cases that are going on at the moment, though. I'm
without a doubt. I was hoping for a Supreme Court argument, but can't win them all.
You're a big Supreme Court guy.
Yeah, well, decorum and such,
Decorum is back.
Yeah,
Jeans on the plane.
As long as we're wearing jeans on planes.
Okay, yes, jeans on the plane, but also decorum, civility, and reaching across the aisle was on display earlier today. Okay. I guess ESPN TV deal, sure. I think this is bad, actually. I think the ESPN thing is bad, mostly, because I think that they do a bad job of broadcasting the product. I'll change my opinion if and when they do a better job of doing that, which may or may not happen.
That's fair.
That's my right. That's my right. Anything else? Do you want to talk about Tomi Lahren? I know you do, kind of a little bit.
Stop.
A little bit.
We follow her on the Tipping Pitches account. And by we, I'm saying I followed her when I saw that
JPR and Sebia?
That they like got married or whatever. I was like, well, I guess she's in our sphere now. I guess I got to know what she's saying.
What
it really took me back to like 2015 when I was like, following people on the right, because I'm like, I'm a journalist. Like I need to see what's happening on both sides of the aisle. Right
Funniest
now.
thing
I'm like 19 years old
today. I'm a journalist. Student journalism is big time back, by the way.
That's right, it is.
You saw that reporting in the Harvard Crimson. They're getting scoops that the ye old New York Times is not getting
up
intentionally.
Over there,
some might say. I'm really proud of my friends at the Harvard Crimson, student newspaper that I've definitely never said anything disparaging about in any of my years working in media. Certainly not while I was running NYU's student newspaper. I never said anything bad about the Harvard Crimson or any other student newspaper.
Any other student newspaper. No,
because we were all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
You were a chronicler of Tomi Lahren. You were the person who first introduced me to her. Does that make you proud?
Was I actually?
Totally, yeah.
All right. I'll keep it going.
I was still on Iowa City. I like to toss
one of those towards you every so often.
I was still reading Iowa City Wonks, and you were just like, "You heard about this Tomi Lahren chick?" Yeah. Okay. The only thing we didn't cover is the potential Tarek Skubal trade, which we could talk about that if and when it happens. We didn't talk about it not because it's not important and not because it's not a symptomatic of all the stuff that we did spend a lot of time talking about, the Bob nutting, it's not really symptomatic of the Guardians betting thing, but the Bob nutting thing, the John Stanton thing, like it is all kind of a piece with that, but team pretending like they don't have enough money to compete with bigger market team who wants their star is like a tale as old as time. And we've had that conversation a lot of times. The right answer is they should give him as much money as he wants. They should not trade him. It's so cut and dry that like I have nothing interesting to add.
Right.
All right. I'll clear out for the last 5 minutes for you to talk about Freddie Freeman's worm form.
I did go today. I was like, we never did a formal wrap up of the bingo card. And frankly, I think it's just as well to leave that one in the dustbin of history. We're 1 for 2 on bingo cards so far, which is not bad. Right?
In baseball, that makes us the MVP. Hitting 500,
right.
I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the Freddie Freeman worm video for the first time. I had not watched it until just now.
Is it good? Is it worthy of discussion?
Have you not seen it?
No.
It's kind of crazy. He's wearing jeans. Takes his phone out of his
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Fearless.
That was like aggressive too.
That's what I'm saying. Gotta imagine.
He got some air.
Stan Katzen and what's the other guy? Mark Walter. Probably didn't love seeing that.
Honestly, probably not.
He could have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
Could have broke a vertebrae or something.
Yeah. Or frankly, one of those beautiful veneers.
I can't even talk about the veneers, dude.
Okay.
All right. I can't even talk. They're out of control.
Can you imagine him doing the worm and accidentally like face planting?
Yes, I actually can. I actually can. Okay. Thanks for listening to another bang up episode of the Tipping Pitches podcast. If you liked what you heard and the freewheeling energy underlying, we have an episode coming up in 2 days' time, 2 or 3 days' time, over on Patreon, patreon.com/tippingpitches. There are 2 tiers to the Patreon experience at Tipping Pitches. $5. It's just to share your support for what we're already doing here, to see a back catalog of some newsletters, some posts, etc., etc. And $10, which is the money tier, the Alex Rodriguez VIP Club, where you will get access to not only just the episode that is coming out in 2 days, but the entire back catalog of bonus episodes that we have done since we launched the podcast, since we launched the Patreon 3.5 years ago. That's every 3 Up, 3 Down that we moved over to the Patreon. That's the playoff diaries from last year. That's Sipping Pitches Part 2. That's Dumbest Things Expanded. That's Overrated, Underrated with Cespedes Family Barbecue Expanded. Really, actually, like kind of a lot of good stuff. Right? Some of our best stuff.
Yeah,
is reserved for the
if
Patreon.
we do say so ourselves.
Even in the off season, where it might seem like we're scraping below the bottom of the barrel, but actually that's where we find ourselves.
Well, I think that's the main problem, is thinking we're confined to a barrel. You got to think outside the barrel, Bob.
No, I like to think inside the barrel.
Okay.
I went to the Guinness factory when I was in Dublin, and it was shaped like a big barrel. You know, like sort of go up it. It's kind of like Disney World. You know, there's like, they're really marketing a lot of stuff. There's like a lot of lights and like a lot of nice sounds and smells and stuff. But it's like about beer instead of about Disney princesses or whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole building is sort of shaped like a barrel, like a stack house, like a smoke house, whatever. And I was like, this is cool. I like to imagine I'm just like a little speck inside of a huge barrel of Guinness.
Maybe a barrel of red wine.
Yeah, that too. I'm wearing a Guinness t-shirt right now.
Wow.
I
Captured by the brands.
I love brands.
Oh my God.
And you listening, you love brands. And the brand you love the most is the Tipping Pitches podcast. So please go support over at patreon.com/tippingpitches. It's good to be back. We look forward to enjoying a wonderful, wonderful off season where no bad things will happen. No signs of oncoming lockout. Certainly. All going to be good. Only up from here. We'll talk to you soon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping Pitches.
Tipping Pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping Pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!